So we're going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, it seems. We're going to do some updates today on Vince and Stephanie. And like I said, another person has come forward with more stories about the entire behind the scenes situation going on in the Vince era, or that was going on in the Vince era. But let's get to this one first. This is from a Jacksonville website, news station. Uh, and it's newsforjacks.com. And I'm going to put the link to all the articles in the description. And it says major law firm looking for more victims in the Vince McMahon scandal. And somebody had put in the comments that someone's going to need, or if more people want to come forward, they're going to need to have someone represent them or protect them. And I said that Vice on their website had listed in the Ashley Massara article's contact information if people wanted to come forward discreetly. But here it says Chicago-based firm is seeking more potential victims to come forward following sex trafficking scandal. And this is, let's see, Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson is the reporter, and this came out yesterday. Jacksonville, Florida, embattled former WWE owner Vince McMahon could be facing more legal jeopardy. The Going Ringside podcast has detailed the bombshell allegations leveled against McMahon a few weeks ago by a former employee, which we all know about. That employee, Janelle Grant, has sued both McMahon and WWE for sex trafficking while she was an employee. Both McMahon and WWE have denied wrongdoing. Now, a Chicago-based law firm has put an ad for more potential accusers to come forward. And there's a link you can see is highlighted when you go to the article. That'll be listed in the description. You can look at it there. The law firm, Pintus and Mullins Injury Lawyers, put out an ad titled Vince McMahon and WWE/UFC Sex Abuse and Exploitation Claims. So, I mean, are these guys just ambulance chasers? Possibly, looking to capitalize on this, or are they people who are looking to represent people who have been grievously wronged by the WWE in Vince's time? That's for you to decide. Quote, according to a recent lawsuit, the founder and other leaders forced employees to participate in sexual acts by threatening to terminate their employment and share intimate images of them, the firm, end quote, the firm wrote. McMahon resigned from his position overseeing the company he built the day after the lawsuit was filed. There have also been reports that the federal government has investigated McMahon and served him with both the search warrant and seized his cell phone. Oh, boy. Because we saw those text messages, if they came from Vince. Again, these are all allegations, but I couldn't get through them. I read maybe two. I couldn't get through them. To this point, it's unclear if that investigation is related to the Grant lawsuit. The feds have not filed any charges against McMahon, so that's important. No charges have been filed. We'll see how it plays out. This comes several months after WWE merged with UFC to create a new company called TKO. The stock is up in TKO. So this rolling forward and the things that are happening in the road to WrestleMania are keeping the stock afloat. I think this is specifically why they want nothing. TKO wants nothing to do with this. And, it's a new regime. I heard things are going well. Backstage, things are going well. It's young talent, new leadership, Triple H. I'm sure TKO wants nothing to do with this and will leave McMahon out to dry. McMahon, prior to his resignation, retained 49% of the company, while UFC CEO Ari Emanuel controlled 51% of the company. So that's by Scott Johnson. So, I mean, people are looking to, find others that, might come forward. And speaking of that, let's get into the next article. Let's just go right at it. And you may have seen this already. Okay, that's not it. There we go. Oh, boy, where did it go? No. Okay, I'm stuck here in a... Okay, here we go. This is from WrestleTalk.com. It says, former WWE star alleges incident, quote, unquote, worse than recent Vince McMahon lawsuit. A former WWE star has alleged that he knows of an incident, quote, unquote, worse than what was described in the recent major Vince McMahon lawsuit. On January 25, a lawsuit was filed, and you can read the full lawsuit below. And we just went through that, so I'm not going to read it again. Also named as defendants in the suit were John Laurinaitis and WWE. In an interview with Ashley Banfield for News Nation, former WWE star Paul Roma commented on stories of alleged sexual abuse in WWE. During the interview, Banfield referenced an interview with another former WWE star, Mario Mancini, who had alleged that he knew of an incident that was quote-unquote worse than what was described in the aforementioned lawsuit. Roma said that he knew of the same incident and agreed with the worse than the lawsuit label. Here's how the interview went. You can see a video of it on the page below. So I'm going to read. There's a lot of content here. And I'm not going to get into the... Okay. Here it goes. Banfield, 1984 to 91, you're with WWE. Do you ever hear about some kind of awful behavior, any of these allegations? Does any of this sort of sound like the Vince McMahon that you knew? It's Roma. Yes, it was pretty regular. You heard it on a regular basis for the most part. Then you wouldn't hear of it for a while, and it would come full circle. But it wasn't so much Vince as it was the people that he had surrounding him. You're talking about an industry where you have young, good-looking, well-built men in the ring. Half naked, three-quarters naked, actually. So, yeah, it left the door open, and he had a lot of people around him, vice presidents and bookers that were very much into it, and they put you in a really bad situation, especially once you started making some money. You kind of get comfortable with that, and then you find out that your job's on the line. Either do it or get fired. And I witnessed quite a few that walked away. The money wasn't worth it for them to go that route, so to speak. Banfield, what had happened to those people that you're saying? You mentioned that you heard quite a few that walked away. What had happened to them that made them want to walk away? They were asked to do things, sexual things with other men that they did not want to do. My former partner being one of them. I was actually in a cab ride in Washington. We were coming back, and the gentleman next to me kept saying, "It's not worth it. It's not worth the Benjamins." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "It's not worth it." And I said, "What are you talking about? What's not worth it?" He says, "It's just not worth it." And we got back to the hotel. The next day, we were filming for a second TV taping, and he was gone. He jumped on a flight and went back home and never showed up again to wrestle. And he had an unfortunate accident, hit his head, and passed away while he was asleep. He had a bleed on the brain. Banfield, did he ever tell you what it was that he said wasn't worth it? Roma, he didn't tell me who. He just told me what to do, what they wanted him to do. Banfield, and what was that? Sexual favors. And my former partner, one of my former partners, when I was part of the Young Stallions, he was propositioned, and he said he went to one of the agents and told them what had happened. And I said, "Why would you do that? You just ratted on both of us." So he kind of threw us both under the bus just starting out. Banfield. So to be clear, the person in the cab who said, "It's just not worth the Benjamins," that person told you that he was propositioned. He wouldn't tell you who it was, if I'm clear, but he told you what happened. He did tell you that these were executives with WWE that had propositioned him. Well, let's lead it this way. That's all it could be. If someone's going to give you money, then it has to be that. There is nothing else. It's not going to be one of the other boys that you're wrestling with. They're not going to offer you money. Even my former partner, same thing. They offered him money, drugs, just lay on your back. You don't have to do a thing. And he came running right to me when I came into TV. And I said, "Dude, what are you going to do?" And he said, "Oh, I've already spoke to Arnold." And I said, "Well, why would you do that? You just killed our team. What do you think he's going to do? He's just going to go to the people that propositioned you. What do you think is going to happen to them? Nothing." Banfield. So these are allegations. We have to be very clear about this, but your friend and former business partner, Mario Mancini, spoke with us the other day and said he knows of at least one incident from years ago that's even worse than some of the worst allegations in Janelle Grant's lawsuit. Do you know what that incident is? And can you tell me tonight? Roma, I really shouldn't right now, but yes, I do know what it is, and it is worse. Banfield, can you characterize it in any way? And we're almost at the end of this, and then I'm just going to move on. Roma, just that Mario and I are really surprised. We spoke about it, and we're surprised that no one has come forward. But on the flip side, I think that they're of an age now that they may be married, have kids. They don't want to open Pandora's box, and I can't blame them. And I said that to Mario. Can you blame them? Would you really want to open this up, this can of worms? No, you wouldn't want to open it up. Banfield Paul Roma, I'm very appreciative of you being on the program, and I think there's obviously some things you need to work out before you can speak more freely about this. But I'd like to invite you back on the program, Mary. Maybe carry on this conversation a little further. Would that be all right? And Roma says that'll be fine. So, I mean, if you're any kind of wrestling fan, you know all about this Pat Patterson business and all these sorts of things that have been talked about pretty openly. Open secrets. Having to do with the WWE. And it looks like, these things are starting to become more of the public record now. Now, if you remember correctly, you remember the deaths and the murders surrounding Chris Benoit. And that was in the headlines for quite a while, well, about a month. And then it just kind of went away. I don't think this is going to go away. This is a bit more insidious than, just an insane murder. Like we had with Benoit and his family, unfortunately. I don't think this is going anywhere. And I got one more piece here to bring to you today. And this is from CultAholic. And it says, report, WWE perception of Stephanie McMahon changes following Ashley Massaro allegations. And so I had made a video a couple of days ago saying that Massaro had confided in Stephanie. Stephanie, being a woman, had, sort of seemed to befriend Ashley after she explained what had happened to her. They walked into a meeting of executives together, and then allegedly, according to Massaro's friend, Stephanie completely flipped on her and went corporate. And Ashley just never really had a chance. That's the story. So here we go. But once this story broke a few days ago, over the weekend, several days ago, end of last week, this seems to be the reaction of the locker room and people at WWE who might not have known about this prior to the story breaking last week. And it says Stephanie McMahon seen more negatively within WWE. So we're not talking about the fans, but we're talking about inside the company itself following latest Ashley Massaro allegations. And this is from today by Aidan Gibbons. And again, this link will also be in the description. And there's a warning here because it includes an account of a sexual assault. The internal WWE perception of Stephanie McMahon has changed in recent days, according to Dave Meltzer. So, if you're, it depends on what you think of Dave Meltzer's reporting, but these are based on, his reports. After Ashley Massaro friend Cara Pipia claimed that McMahon knew about the allegations made by Ashley Massaro. Meltzer went on Wrestling Observer Radio, quote, I was in contact with talent there. Again, it's only a couple of people there, but the feeling there is the exact same feeling I had. It's not like they're defending Vince McMahon. It's almost like, again, because they work there and many of them have worked for Vince for years and years and years. Somebody brought that up to me, and it's like the fact that in the Ashley Massaro story, Stephanie talked to her, and it was what it was. It's kind of like you can't say they didn't know. Stephanie knew. And it continues. I think there was a feeling among some people that Vince is a bad guy and Laurinaitis as well, and we can't defend them, and they're gone. And Stephanie's gone as well, but there was not that negativity whatsoever for Stephanie. Stephanie was the one who lost the power play to the evil Vince, but this is the one where you look at it and you go, there's not a defense of Stephanie either. I know that hit some people really hard because they had nothing negative about Stephanie, but this is the one where you go, how do you defend this one? Following her passing in May 2019, the lawyer for Ashley Massaro released an affidavit which alleged that she was injected with, and I'm not gonna reread that. You can read that in the article about what her claims of what happened when she was on tour with in Kuwait. And that Vince basically told her not to talk about the incident to preserve the company's relationship with the United States military. Following the affidavit's release, WWE denied any knowledge of the allegations and claims they would have told the base commander immediately. And there's still no word from the U.S. military. There's still no Freedom of Information Act request. This should be documented. The lawyer for John Laurinaitis had claimed in recent weeks, however, that WWE executives did know about the incident. Carapipia has also said that a WWE doctor knew about the allegations, but he had no political power within the organization at a time when executives were allegedly threatening Massaro. I'm going to skip around a little bit. The Ashley Massaro allegations surfaced in recent weeks, followed Vince's allegations, and we're going to get more into that. So, Stephanie was a longtime WWE executive until her resignation in January of last year after Vince McMahon forced his way back into the organization. So, I mean, I guess once people have started to hear this story, it's shifted some perceptions. It's a difficult thing to defend. How do you defend this? I don't know. And then, you would have to assume, and what I'm reading in my comments is that, Vince knew, Laurinaitis knew, Vince is still harassing her, regardless, or before or after, in addition to all of this. How does Stephanie not know? How does Shane not know? How does Triple H not know? How do all these executives not know about this? And so it sounds like what Roma is saying, that everybody knows about it. Every once in a while you hear something flare up and, then it kind of goes away and then you hear about it again. So this is a big mess. Law firms are now looking to solicit clients who might want to step forward. Again, Paul Roma is saying, if people did, get involved with the gay thing because they were pressured to do so, they may not want to come forward now. If they're married with children, do you really want to get into that? But again, and then also now, Stephanie's getting a little bit of an honor because the allegations say that, she walked into the executive meeting with Massaro and then turned on her and was basically interested in protecting the company rather than Ashley. It's a big mess. This is not. I thought initially, it was in question for me whether this would go away, and in 6 months would anybody be talking about it. But I don't see this going away anytime soon. I suppose there could be the possibility that. Here's the thing. It's going to outlast WrestleMania. Like what's going on right now and the WrestleMania push with The Rock and Cody Rhodes and, all these different things, that's keeping things going. Once WrestleMania ends, which basically is in about 6 weeks, this is going to last longer than 6 weeks. And I don't know how much of a buffer they're going to have to push it back. And again, I feel horrible for the people that have nothing to do with this, that are just working there at WWE or, have never had any part in this and just want to do their jobs, that they're just sort of, trying to avoid getting caught up in this. And they should be able to, not get caught up in this. But it's a mess, man. And I think this is going to outlast the road to WrestleMania. And then, we'll see what happens next. Okay, that's my video. What do you think? I mean, does it make sense to you? A lot of people are saying, I'm getting a lot of comments saying that, it makes sense to me. Yeah, this sounds right. People knew, that sort of thing. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. As soon as some more information breaks, I'll let you know. I'm trying to get some more information on Marty Jannetty and Virgil. And then maybe, I don't think I'm going to cover the Booker T thing. It sounds like he just had to deal with something at his own independent, AAA promotion. And it sounds like he did the right thing. So that's my video. We will be here on Sunday, live streaming for the reaction to Elimination Chamber, WWE Elimination Chamber. And I might live stream the Elimination Chamber myself and just, have a stream going with it. even though I think that's 5 in the morning my time because it's happening in Perth. But I get up early. I wouldn't get up at 5 in the morning. I don't think I would get up at 5 in the morning to watch WWE. But I generally tend to get up around 4:30 or 5. So maybe I'll do it. I'll see. Maybe I'll run a YouTube poll and see if people want me to cover it. All right, that's my video. I will see you all in the next one, and take care of yourselves. All right, God bless.